Coming up on International Trade Focus, we shall explore the impact of power outages on Ghanaian businesses, uncovering the economic costs and future solutions. Power outages, an all too familiar experience for many across Africa, particularly here in Ghana. But the flick of a switch going unanswered isn't just a minor inconvenience. It's an economic challenge that ripples across every sector of society, from agriculture to industry and even international trade. Welcome to today's edition of International Trade Focus. My name is Anna Spio, and today we are shining a spotlight on a critical issue that continues to challenge Ghana's economy: power outages. In this episode, we'll delve into the real impact of these outages on businesses and, by extension, Ghana's position in the global market. Now, we spoke with industry leaders from the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce, from the Ghana Union of Traders Association, and also from the Center for Energy Policy, ASAP, to get their insight on how these power disruptions are affecting their sectors. International Trade Focus is brought to you by Gold Energy, ADB, Truly Agric and more, Public Elegance, and Pediasi Valley Resort. Stay tuned. On today's edition of International Trade Focus, we are delving deeper into the impact of unstable power supply on businesses, the very backbone of Ghana's economy. We spoke with key industry leaders, including GUTA and ASAP, to get their insight. Stay tuned as our focal point segment comes up next. Power outages are not just a local inconvenience, they are a global economic drain. Around the world, the lights going out mean more than just darkness. They mean billions of dollars lost, opportunities missed, and progress stalled. According to the World Bank, power outages cost low and middle income countries an estimated 1.5% of their GDP every year. In sub-Saharan Africa, where businesses experience an average of 8.2 power outages per month, the impact is even more pronounced. The International Energy Agency reports that unreliable electricity access costs the region around $26 billion annually, a staggering figure for economies striving to grow. In more developed nations, the story is similar. A study by the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory revealed that power interruptions cost the U.S. economy a jaw-dropping $150 billion annually. These aren't just numbers, they represent lost productivity, disrupted lives, and for businesses, a constant battle against the unpredictable. In Africa, power outages are more than just an inconvenience. They are a significant economic hurdle for businesses across the continent, from the daily load shedding in South Africa to the persistent blackouts in Nigeria and the frequent power disruptions in Ghana. Unreliable electricity disrupts production, increases costs, and challenges economic stability. In South Africa, power outages are a well-known phenomenon. The country experiences load shedding. According to the South African Reserve Bank, load shedding costs the economy approximately 120 billion rands annually, which is about $6.7 billion. This staggering figure reflects the widespread impact across various sectors. Manufacturers are particularly hard hit. The Manufacturing Circle reports that load shedding causes losses estimated at 50 billion rands, approximately $2.8 billion in production annually. In Nigeria, power outages are a daily reality, deeply affecting business operations. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission indicates that over 70% of businesses experience frequent power outages. The World Bank estimates that these outages cost Nigeria approximately $29 billion annually. Ghana's struggle with power reliability presents a significant change for businesses. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, power outages cost Ghanaian businesses approximately $1.5 billion annually. This economic strain reflects disruptions in various sectors, including manufacturing and agriculture. Manufacturers in Ghana face a 7.5% annual revenue loss due to power interruptions, as reported by the African Development Bank. The agriculture sector is similarly affected, with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture estimating a 2% annual loss in agricultural export revenue due to issues such as irrigation and cold storage. These disruptions impact the entire supply chain, affecting food security and business profitability. Ghana's energy sector, weighed down by outdated infrastructure and financial woes, has struggled to keep up with the demands of a growing economy. The result? Frequent power outages that bring everything from small shops to large factories to a grinding halt. Kojo Yawuche, the policy lead for petroleum and conventional energy at the Africa Center for Energy Policy (ACEP), explained that Ghana's power outages are primarily due to issues in generation, transmission, and distribution. He emphasized that outdated infrastructure and inadequate maintenance are key contributors and highlighted the need for grid modernization and investment in alternative energy sources to address these challenges effectively. Over the years, ASAP, I know that you do a lot of analysis and research on power and energy in the country. So as a country, what has been the cause for our power outages over the years?
That's a really packed question, but I'll try to unpack it. Over the period, the problems that we've been facing with our power sector has been multi-layered. In the past, we didn't have enough generation to meet the demand that we had, so we had to quickly go into some emergency power agreements to augment that generation capacity, which led to a number of problems that we had with the contracting process and all of those things. And then we moved to our current situation, which is also multi-layered, where you have the financial liquidity of the value chain being weak, and as a result, there are generation problems. So you have the distribution end that is supposed to recover revenues and pay for the costs of power generation and distribution along the value chain. But the distribution end is not able to recover the full revenue. As we speak, they are only able to do about 60%. Which means about 40% is lost. And as a result, we don't have enough to go backwards to distribution and to power generation. And that coincided with some of the generation plants going up for maintenance, and some of them, the older VRA plants not being able to come on stream. And you would expect that there are some plants that are dual fuel, that you can quickly get liquid fuels to come and augment. There has also been shortage of gas within the system. So you expect that if there is money, liquid fuels, you can quickly just get it from the international market for them to operate. But because the value chain is cash strapped, we are unable to make those purchases. And as a result, there are some plants that are operating at half capacity. There are some that are not operating at all because the fuel is not there, and buying the fuel is contingent on the money being available to buy it. So that's been the confluence of factors that really is disturbing us. But from all that I've said, you see that the key area that we need to be focusing on is the distribution end of the value chain. How do we ensure that there is full revenue recovery for power that is being sold in the country? And that's a conversation that has become difficult to have, especially where you have the distribution managers not willing to accept that there is even a problem. You see where the public have to be engaging in banter with the distribution utilities as to whether there is doom or there is not. And all manner of explanations have been raised as to why we are having outages. Then PURC comes and says all of those things are lies, right? You say your transformers have problem and all of those things. That is not true. So until we get to a point where we all as stakeholders agree that this is the problem that we are facing, we need to tackle it. We can't. There was some consensus on this problem around 2014, where the IFC did some due diligence on the power sector and said that we needed to invest some $500 million in the distribution infrastructure to retool it and make it more robust, to be able to curtail some of these challenges that we are facing. So we thought it wise that, well, let's get some private capital, because of course government is always cash strapped, will not find the 500 million to do that investment. Let's get some private capital into the space to be able to, first of all, make the investment and also help with the management of ECG to ensure that these inefficiencies that we are currently seeing are curtailed. Because I don't think there's any private man that would be incurring 40% losses year on year and will just sit down without taking any action. Then we brought in PDS and its attendant problems that we had in terms of the contracting process again and all of that. So since then, we have not really had any serious conversation on reforming the power sector. It's just been, we are shutting things down to make repairs, doom CACA. I mean, all sort of nomenclature being thrown about to rename the problem but we've not really had a consensus that this is the problem that we have and this is how we should solve the problem. And that has really entrenched the teething problems from that time to now to a level that is becoming unsustainable.
Earlier, you mentioned a myriad of problems, a myriad of factors that are contributing to the power outages that we've been experiencing. I was going to say we're experiencing now, but we've been experiencing this for many years. Quickly take us through some solutions that ASEP through your research have gathered, that if we are able to do A, B, C, D, we'll at least have some decent power supply in the country.
I think the primary thing that we should be considering right now is, how do we fix the distribution end of the business? We still maintain that we need some form of private sector participation in the management and operation of ECG, because the evidence has shown that ECG is not able to manage itself. It's not even able to reform itself like we think it should. So that should be the first step. Now, how we go about this private sector participation is what we'll leave to government to decide, but because there are different models of doing that. But the expectation is that that process has to be transparent. That process has to be open for everybody to be able to follow and track. And that process should be secured from politically exposed persons trying to hijack the state asset. Because we believe that when you are able to solve the operational and managerial inefficiencies of the distribution end, then there is enough revenue in the system. You can be able to now afford retooling your transmission infrastructure, for example. You can change your overloaded transformers that trip and even people getting low voltage. There's power, but you can't use it for anything, right? It's because the system is not liquid. So the needed retooling of the infrastructure is not happening. Unless, of course, in the past where we've had, for example, the MCA compact and also some development partners coming in to foot the cost of some of the transmission infrastructure. The Kaswa bulk supply point, for example, is one of them. The Pokwase, for example, is also one of them. Those are the investments that we need. But if the revenue is not flowing, you will not be, because if you look at the tariff structure, the tariff considers the investment requirements of all of these entities along the chain.
Right.
So how much do we need for investing in transmission infrastructure? How much do we need investing in distribution infrastructure? If the system were working like it should as a commercial business, then we wouldn't be having this conversation today. So we still believe that tackling the distribution end of the power value chain and ensuring that it is managed efficiently is the key to unlocking all the benefits that we think we can get from having a reliable power supply.
In the 21st century, there's been several alternative sources for power. Solar, for instance, is one of them. How do you think we can fuse, some of these alternative sources into what we have currently in order to sort of buffer, the power that we have currently?
Yeah, so for on-grid solar, it's going to be slow to get on-grid solar. I mean, as part of our energy mix, we've tried something else, BXC solar, the Bree power solar, and all of those. So those ones are big on-grid. But we believe that the market, as it becomes more efficient and less costly, will overtake government plans and intentions. Because once people know that they can get reliable power from solar, it doesn't need government to tell them to go and get it. And people are getting it. It's becoming more popular now. There are some medium-scale businesses that are going off-grid into solar, right? So the space is there. It's just left for the upfront costs that people are scared of. Yeah. And we are hoping that these suppliers of these renewable technology solutions would work with the banks more to find some financing arrangements that businesses can work with. There is also the option of having embedded generation, where there are solar companies that are producing power and supplying to households, and they pay a tariff for it. Instead of the households incurring the cost of the infrastructure. So you are just paying, just like you pay to ECG and all of this. And those things are expanding. The challenge with government effectively promoting it is that if you are doing that and people are going off the grid, then it means that you are going to have excess capacity on the grid that you have to pay for, because you've committed yourself to long-term agreements to pay for people to supply power and pay for them. So you have to try and ensure that people are consuming the power. Right, but there will come a time where, it's much more cost effective to consume off the grid, and there's nothing government can do to stop it.
When it comes to the impact of power outages, it's not only the big players that suffer. Small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, and service-oriented businesses, the backbone of Ghana's economy, are hit just as hard, if not harder. For these businesses, a power outage can be devastating. The Ghana Union of Traders Association (GUTA) has voiced these concerns loudly. For many SMEs, the cost of investing in backup power is simply too high. Instead, they are forced to close down their doors when the power goes out, losing valuable income and customers. Dr. Joseph Obeng is the national president of GUTA. As the president of GUTA, how would you say that power outages affect the operations of your members?
So it affects in every direction, and even the industrialization drive or the agenda of government depends mainly on energy, and if you fail in that regard, it means that you are going to find it difficult to industrialize. Now, even the new norm of trading, the traditional ways have given way to the new norms, that is the online trading and all that. And so we depend on the internet to do that. And the internet also depends on electricity. And so that's the first point of call for traders. That this time, so many people do this online trading, even students and all that. And for us, the main importers and traders and all that will also depend on this same new norm to drive our businesses. So it's very important that we have a sustained power and all that. Apart from the fact that when there's no electricity, we have to also add up to the excessive cost of doing business already. I've enumerated the effects of taxation on the cost of doing business, the effects of the exchange rate on the cost. And then you come back, buy fuel to power your energy by buying generator sets and all that at a huge cost. Apart from the nuisance that it will also create. Because when you go to Opera Square, Makola, Kantamanto and all that, and then you hear the sounds of generator. Apart from the main sounds in this area, then the generator, the sound of generator is creating a nuisance. And then it's also creating health issues for us. Because the fumes that is coming out of these generators and is not auguring well for us. Because look at the area that we do at Predat, it's so compounded with people. And then the fumes is also coming in our midst. Then what will be the results? That we get sick and all that. Apart from the petrol that we have to buy, the risk aspect. You recall that when the Makola burnt some few years ago, it was attributed to a generator. The one that happened on the top of, it was attributed to generator use. And so all of these make it a nuisance factor for trading. Apart from the fact that we need a very comfortable or ambience to trade. Because customers come and then they don't have to trade under the heat or even the noise or what have you. So it's very important. What about those who trade in perishable goods and all that? Those who do the cold stores and all that, before they realize they are throwing most of their capital away because they've gone bad and all that. Then you come to those who do the salons and then the barbers and all that, even though they are not part of us, but at least we also enjoy their services. And then they don't also have the lights, or the same factors that affect the trading also affect them. So it is very important that we take care of this if we want the generality of the economy to boom and all that.
Service-oriented businesses, such as banks and telecommunication companies, face their own unique challenges. These sectors are crucial to the smooth operation of both local and international trade. When the power goes out, so does the ability to process transactions, make phone calls, or access the internet. For businesses that depend on these services, every minute of downtime is a minute lost in the fast-paced world of global commerce. Manufacturing and industry form the bedrock of Ghana's export economy. Industries like aluminum processing, steel production, and textiles require a constant and reliable power supply to function efficiently. When the lights go out, the entire process halts, and the losses can be monumental. In a competitive global market, delays can be catastrophic. Buyers may choose to source their materials from countries where the supply chain is more reliable. Over time, this erodes Ghana's position in the global markets, making it harder for local businesses to thrive. The impact of power outages on international trade is profound. For businesses operating in Ghana, the cost of unreliable electricity can make or break their ability to compete globally. Higher production costs due to the need for alternative power sources like generators drive up the prices of Ghanaian goods. In a market where every cedi counts, this can lead to a significant reduction in export volumes, which in turn affects the country's trade balance. Moreover, power outages create an environment of uncertainty that can deter foreign direct investment. Investors are cautious about committing resources to regions where infrastructure is unstable. According to a 2022 report by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, stable infrastructure is a key factor in attracting foreign direct investment. For Ghana, addressing the issue of power reliability is crucial to securing the investments needed to expand the industrial base and enhance its export capacity. Supply chains, both domestic and international, are also disrupted by power outages. In today's global economy, efficiency is everything. Delays caused by power outages can lead to missed deadlines, lost contracts, and damaged relationships with international partners. Over time, this can tarnish Ghana's reputation as a reliable trading partner, making it harder for the country to compete in the global market. The government of Ghana has recognized the critical need to address the country's power issues. Recent initiatives include the construction of new power plants, the expansion of renewable energy sources, and ongoing reforms in the energy sector. For example, the Ghanaian Independent Plant, operational since 2020, adds 340 megawatts to the national grid. Expansions are underway to increase the Abuasi thermal plant's capacity. There are also international partnerships aimed at supporting Ghana's energy sector. The World Bank and African Development Project seek to provide essential funding and technical support for grid modernization and renewable energy projects in Ghana. Industry players commend these efforts and recommend that the efforts go further, strengthening the financial viability of the energy sector, ensuring consistent fuel supply for thermal plants, and investing in modernizing the transmission and distribution infrastructure are crucial steps. Additionally, promoting private sector investments in renewable energy and adopting energy-efficient technologies can help reduce the strain on the national grid and provide more reliable power to businesses. Power outages are more than just a local issue. They are a global challenge with far-reaching implications. For Ghana, the stakes are high. Addressing the challenges posed by power outages is essential in maintaining the country's position in global markets, attracting foreign investment, and ensuring sustainable economic growth. With the right investment and policies, Ghana can turn the lights back on, brightening the future of businesses and ensuring that the country remains a key player on the international stage.